Hi again, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Philadelphia Rebels Coach's Corner. My name is Tom Williams. To my left is the assistant coach for the Rebels. It's Tom Peffall, and we'll get to Captain Ryan Patrick in just a couple seconds. But first, we'll talk about last weekend, a successful weekend. Two victories over the New Jersey Titans. First one, a 2-1 win over New Jersey. Took a 2-0 lead after one. Hung on for the win. Only 21 shots apiece, a very defensive game. Outshot in the third period. Sounds like a very defensive game.
Yeah, we knew going in that it was going to be a competitive battle. Every time we play Jersey, it's tight. They've probably given us the most trouble within division this year. Always competitive, always a little bit chippy. Some shots here and there, maybe a couple of fights. But it's a very competitive game, and we have to stay defensively sound and make sure everybody's doing their job. And I think we did that, especially in the third period. When you have a 2-goal lead, you got to hang on and sacrifice the body, eat some pucks, and do it for each other and the guy next to you, and they certainly did that. And Saturday pucks are bouncing a little bit more our way, but I think that's a testament to the guys getting hungry and doing things right, and driving the net, sticks on the ice, and getting bodies in front. So overall, pretty good weekend. A lot of compete out of our guys, but now we need to build on that.
We're talking about that second game, a 5-2 victory, much stronger finish with 3 goals to pull away, so it's kind of a different thing. You stepped up the offense instead of kind of clamping down. But one thing I certainly want to talk about, and we've talked about a lot during all these coaching shows, is the power play. The power play struggled this weekend, going over, which is extremely rare. So, and we're here right after a practice, and I noticed there was some extended time working on the power play.
Yeah, we did some work on the power play. We worked a lot on the penalty kill as well. The penalty kill has been getting better for us every week. It's one of the strong points of our game, and guys are really buying into doing their job and not worrying about anybody else. Do your job, and the rest will take care of itself. So the power play has been peaking, I think, at the right time, but it's something that needs to continue the strong progress that we've had. Power play-wise, it has been struggling a little bit. We were in the top of the league there for a while. I think we're sitting around 3 right now. But we need to bear down on chances. Sometimes I think we're getting a little too pretty. That guy can speak for himself. But sometimes we're getting a little too pretty. We need to attack the net more, get more pucks to the net, shoot more pucks, instead of trying to have that one extra pass. So that's something that we looked at in video, and we're going to work on the rest of this week, and hopefully we can have some success this weekend.
And is that where you play these guys enough times to get played within the division pretty well exclusively, that they kind of key in on your tactics as far as the power play or anything else, any other aspect of the game, so you have to kind of change things, change the way you do it, give them a different look as well?
Yeah, I think you have to mix it up. For us, we do different things in-house with different personnel and different plays here and there. You certainly don't want to throw the same thing at a team, especially back-to-back or this weekend 3 in a row. By that third game, things become a little bit obvious. So we try and talk amongst ourselves. I'm not going to put too much out there, but we do like to switch things up here and there and try and figure out different ways for us to succeed.
Well, okay, looking at this coming weekend, as we mentioned, a 3-game set up at the Northeast Generals, another Philly, New England kind of rivalry thing. And one thing about them I've talked about during the game broadcast is the massive improvement that they've made. Yeah, they've fallen off a little bit lately this season, but last year, coming from 4 wins to being extremely competitive, has to be, it's a very good thing for the division and for the North American Hockey League.
It's great for the division to have competitive teams. I think when you go into every weekend now, whether it's Wilkes or here in Philly, up in New England, Jersey, there's even Johnstown, there's always competition. I think Johnstown swept Wilkes this weekend, and we swept Jersey, but last time Jersey beats us in overtime. There's so much competitive hockey going on, and I think it's great for the fans, for the league, for the players. But they have made some big strides since last year. They're a good hockey team. They're opportunistic. They're very offensively powered. So we just need to do our job and make sure that we know what's coming and prepare ourselves, and we'll be okay.
Well, last time you guys went up there was about 2 months ago, and you took 3 straight against them. They come down here a couple of weeks later. You take 2 out of 3, so far 7-2 on the season against Northeast. But as you mentioned, certainly not patsies, as they played. Most of those games have been very tight. And going up there again for a 3-game series starting on Thursday morning, conditioning has to be very important if you're playing 3 straight games 3 days in a row.
Yeah, that's something that I think Coombsy takes into consideration, and he's a very smart coach when it comes to that, along with Sal, on how we can push the guys during the week, when they need breaks, how long our practice should be. So it is a very grueling weekend for them to play 3-3, but at this point in the season, they're ready to do that. We obviously need to manage their game, manage their shifts as coaches, but I think they're ready, and I'm looking forward to the weekend.
I've won through 3 straight, 6-2-2 in the last 10. Very good road work as you head to Massachusetts, and again, this is right after a practice. And it doesn't change the way you guys practice, and actually the practice was pretty intense. When I walked in, Kumzi had some colorful words for everybody. So that's a great approach to have as a coaching staff, to just keep on pushing these guys. Yeah, so, okay, you won 10 in a row, show me 11. That's exactly, don't let them get complacent. That's certainly, I'm sure, part of the game plan.
Yeah, if you know Kumzi or you've seen him coach, that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? He doesn't stray from what works. He's dedicated. He's emotional, but it's because he wants to win and he wants the best for the guys. I think he does a great job of pushing our guys to the absolute max. So some days like today we went 40 minutes, but we went 45 minutes, 40 minutes hard. We did our job, and it's time to get off the ice. But now it's up to them to make sure their bodies are ready to go.
Now, speaking of these guys, and especially Ryan Patrick here, give me an idea of what his role and what his role has been this year.
Patty has been a go-to for not only the players but the coaching staff. I don't mean just on the ice. Obviously, he's on the power play. He's on the penalty kill. 5-on-5, he's on the ice all the time. He has the letter on his jersey. Ryan Patrick is not because he's sitting here. He's the type of player that you want on your team. You hate to play against. He brings it every night. He brings it to practice. He's in guys' face, letting them know that sometimes this isn't good enough, or keeping us up on the bench. So if I could have 20 Ryan Patricks on the bench, we would. So he needs to keep that up though, and that's. I think he knows that it's not time to settle down and be complacent. It's time to ramp it up now. It's February. So.
Interesting part of the practice, one last thing I want to get to, is there was a part of the practice where I just walked in for a couple of minutes and everyone was silent. Even the coaching staff was silent. Everyone just sat there and I was confused what was going on. All of a sudden I see one player go from one blue line to the other and start talking to another one. You don't think there's specifics on that, but what is that about? Again, I don't want to know the specifics, obviously, that's no one else's business, but when that happens, the players know, okay, I got to step up here. Is that a kind of
right? Exactly. I mean, like you said, I'm not going to get into specifics, but it was a person in a role similar to Patty. They wear a letter on their chest, and when we're not having a practice, we should. It was time for somebody to hold their player and their teammate accountable, and that's what he did. And once he did it, you could see the tempo of the practice pick back up. So it can't always be Kumzi yelling or myself or even Patty because he's wearing the C. It has to be other guys. It has to be a cohesive unit. And we're seeing that come together down the stretch here. So it needs to continue, but it's been good.
I thought that was a cool thing to see, and it's timed perfectly for the coaching show. So thanks for that little bit of insight. Moving on over to Ryan Patrick, 12 goals, 12 assists on the year. Solid year so far, coming out of Culver Military Academy. Talk about the experience at Culver Military Academy in Indiana.
Yeah.
And a lot of players have come out of there, including Don Garcia. And a buddy of mine, I'm going to do a quick shout out, by the way, Brian Rosenau, who was my roommate during minor league baseball. He's actually the trainer for the hockey team. I'm sure.
Oh, really? Yeah,
absolutely.
Rosie. Yeah, that's what I call him. No, small world, definitely. There's been a connection here with the Rebels and Culver Military Academy. Like you said, Don Garcia, Brennan Capchan last year, myself, and also Brian Gunn, the defenseman on the team as well. So, it's, I get a lot of crap actually from the guys for talking about it so much, but I had a really good experience there, both on and off the ice, and I think it's helped me a lot moving forward here.
And for one of those prep schools in the Midwest that NHL and NCAA guys, they just keep picking guys out of there. Between that school, Shattuck, and a couple of others, it's a very impressive league that you guys play in. So much like North American Hockey League, it's great competition just about every single night.
Yeah. I mean, I could, talk about plenty of guys that are either playing college hockey right now, have been drafted in the NHL, or playing in the North American League, the USHL. So, I was fortunate enough to get to play with a lot of those guys, and I think it benefited me just as much as hopefully it benefited them. And it's nice to have those connections moving forward, and knowing that I was able to play with some guys that are doing some pretty big things right now.
All right, second year with the Rebels, now in a leadership role. What has changed from last year to this as far as your approach to pregame, in-game, and also the off-ice stuff?
Yeah, so I think it's a big change. Last year coming in, I had been in a leadership role previously at Culver, but when I got here, it was more of a learning process. I wasn't that young compared to most of the guys. I was an older guy coming in, but it still it was still a learning process. On the ice, the game was faster. There was a lot of stuff, so you're learning from guys, watching in practice, watching during games, picking up little things here and there, and then off the ice, you're seeing what some of the leaders did. Dom and I were really good friends, and he was our captain last year, so I think I took a lot from him and some of the other leaders. And this year, you're in more of obviously a leadership role, authoritative role, and you have to be accountable for your teammates, and so you can't as much focus on yourself. I think you have to focus on a bigger, kind of the team more so, and I think it's tougher, but I think I was ready for the responsibility this year, and I think we're doing a good job as a leadership group this year, so it's been fun to see.
Certainly top of the division once again, and talking about coming into a 3-game weekend, we talked about it with him as far as conditioning is concerned. Now you guys hit the ice, obviously you guys don't really back off as far as each shift is concerned, but is it in the back of your mind saying, okay, I'm going to play 3 games, or is it just simply, okay, 1 shift, 1 game at a time?
Yeah, I think you're aware that there's 3 games right from the start, and that it's going to be a grind. There's no question about that you're usually dead by the 3rd game, or at least afterwards. But I think in the moment, it's just 1 shift at a time. You play your game. If you do the things the right way, buy into our system, play how you can play, and manage your shifts. And I don't think there's any problem that we're not prepared to play 3 games. It's unique. It doesn't happen every weekend for us that we're playing 3 games, but I think we're ready for it, and that's what we have Sal as our trainer working us off the ice, and we got Pef and Coombsy on the ice putting us through the winger. So I think we're ready for it for sure.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Tom Peffall and Ryan Patrick. A quick note as far as the schedule for this weekend. It was going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but on Sunday there's some football going on. I don't know much about it, but so they moved the Sunday game to Thursday morning at 11 a.m. All games on Hockey TV, and the crew up in Massachusetts for the Northeast Generals. Broadcast-wise, we'll have you taken care of as far as that's concerned. Quick shout out to our sponsors, Cafe Ida, open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. located 1732 West Passyunk Avenue. Call 215-218-0100 meals to order and party trails available. CRO Construction, if you can dream it, they can build it. Call 267-718-1604 today for a free estimate. And also, if you're taking a trip, why not Greyhound? Leave the driving to them. So visit greyhound.com for more information. Thanks so much for joining us. This is Head Coach Tom Peffall.
Thank you.
Captain Ryan Patrick. My name is Tom Williams, and we'll see you real soon.
Go Birds.